All right, I had to do this. I have to go because I have got hundreds of comments. People are fuming. People are blowing up. And by the way, I've got SureShot here. He's been hanging out all day. Mobile Gamer, I think, is on a phone call. And I was like, I got to make a video. So
So I
first
might as
off,
well come in and hold down a stool.
yeah, hold down a stool. That's right.
It's here, it's safe, it's secure.
And it's not going anywhere underneath your bum.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk about this whole Revan situation, and I wanted to give you my honest and earnest feedback, and I wanted to actually make a case for a 2-week delay on the event to the developers who I hope watch this video. Now, as many people know, SureShot is free to play, and I am Whale/Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
So
Those
we got
struggles are real.
we have got the ends of the spectrum here, and I have my best friend who's free to play, my brother who's free to play, SureShot, and so I've got lots of people that I look at their accounts every day. I see the struggle. I understand. Now, a couple of things on this event. First off, I think everybody understands. Everybody's not going to get Revan the first time around, and that's okay. With that said, I think what I'm hearing from the community is that they have 1 week. It's not enough time. And so for them, the decision's pretty easy, actually. They just
kind of force their hand, yeah.
force their hand. So you have a week. Is it something you're going to pursue?
Even if I wasn't coming from a free-to-play standpoint where I'm obviously behind the 8 ball with anything that would require extra crystals or payment, it definitely knocks me out of the running as a possibility. There was some possibility in the Chewbacca event where had I been going with the bounty hunters up to that point, I could have had a little bit more of a feasible chance at it. But with something like this, when if you were already focused farming on a different faction and then you only had this much time to suddenly switch your whole focus on essentially a pretty new faction, it really puts you behind the 8 ball, and that kind of becomes a daunting task at that point, and that makes you go, is the character worth it compared to what am I going to spend? Or is it just to the point where, nope, it's not even worth making the attempt? And that can be discouraging because suddenly you feel left out at that point, and it would make you feel like there is favoritism towards a certain clientele.
Yeah, and so I guess this video isn't to, I'm not here to berate Capital Games and their decision making. I think they're trying to make decisions to make money. This is a profitable game that's supposed to maintain profitability.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I'm also not here to appease all the whiners who've gone onto my page and have left stupid messages and comments about how it's somehow my fault or Whale's fault or that I'm a shill or I'm paid for by Capital Games, because those people are just morons to go onto my channel saying things like that.
Well, and you're a YouTuber out there putting your opinion out there, so it kind of makes you an easy target.
Yeah, which is okay. What this is about is I want to talk about, specifically, I want to talk to you, Capital Games, because I'm not mad. What I want, though, is I want the community, specifically a very key demographic of the community, to be heard. And I think if you listen to this conversation and you guys do some analysis on the back end, it's going to make a lot of sense. And there's a case for what I'm about to state. Now, for the purposes of this video and to simplify, I'm going to use some overly simplistic stats because I need to make a point. And I don't have Capital Games as much as everyone says this. I don't have Capital Games in my pocket. I don't know them. They don't pay me. I'm not an employee. I have no idea. But I'm going to use some oversimplistic stats to prove a point. So the first thing I wanted to say to make a case for a 2-week extension on this event is whales like myself are going to get it no matter what. We've already paid the price. It's a done deal. I have 16.
You're kind of already locked into it.
I have 16 shards left on one character. It's happening. So for the Whales and Krakens, it's a done deal. Your money's already been made. That money was a given guarantee, right? And as a whale, I want some exclusivity. I don't want 100% of the player base getting that, and it's okay for pay-to-play to have an advantage. But
even from a free-to-play standpoint, I can even go along with that and say, well, yeah, you put the effort and the money into it, so I could see why you'd be entitled to that.
There's some advantages with spending money, or there should be, or there's no point in spending money. So we get that. And so Capital Games, I think you hear that loud and clear, and you're looking to try to give the whales some advantages. But from a whale, what I wanted to say is there is a window, a magic window, and you guys know this, you have the analytics, where there is a free-to-play faction, probably 80% of the player base, that isn't going to get Revan the first time around. And even if you change anything, for their benefit, they're still not going to get them the first time around
It'll only
because
just get us a little closer. It'd just be like more of a teaser than anything.
that's right. I mean, they will probably still realize doing the math and all of those like calculator things that are on the websites that they can't make it. So we're not talking about the free to play that have already given up, and we're not talking about the whales that have already made this a possibility for themselves because they've already invested the money. What I am talking about is a key demographic, dolphins, the little mini spenders, these guys that are on the fence that are wondering, could I, possibly, may I? These are the guys that bought the $9.99 pack, got the character to 4 stars. They geared these guys up decently, gear 6 to 8 or 7 to 9. And they're considering
they're at that teetering point right now. They don't know if they need to step up to the big, put their big boy pants on and pull the credit card out, or do they kind of just hang back and do what they're continuing to do?
And so these individuals who represent, I'm just going to use roughly 15% of the player base. Again, I'm not an analytics guy for you guys, so I don't know. But this is the 15% I want to talk about. So I'm going to make the case for these individuals on why you should give a 2-week extension on the event. So the whales are taken care of. They're already giving you guys their money. They're a done deal. The free-to-players that are 80% of the population aren't going to make it anyway.
You've
so
already
they'll just
gone to
give
bed
up.
with the idea that, yeah.
Exactly. But these 15% dolphins are on the fence. They're looking towards you guys to make a determination as to whether they can jump in or not financially. And they're going to make this decision really quickly. And you have an opportunity for, instead of it being 1 week, having a 2-week extension, having it 3 weeks. Now, there is a vast majority of these in-betweeners, these 15% of the players who, as it sits right now, know they don't have enough time unequivocally. They've done the math. It's like, $300 in crystals plus all their dailies plus everything, and even then they may not make it, and it doesn't factor in gear. So because it's overwhelming, because of the week, that they just say nope. And so what happens is those pocketbooks close and you don't make any money on those individuals. You may have the occasional straggler who desperately throws $100 towards it and still fails. That only makes for an upset client that didn't actually accomplish anything with their money, and it turns into a long-term problem anyway for spenders. Now,
and to some extent, that's not really an informed decision, too, so it's kind of their bad for trying to throw that money out there when they probably know deep down it's not going to really benefit them.
Probably. But for these individuals, if they had Capital Games say, you spoke, we heard, we're making it 3 weeks, you're going to go from 5% of the population to quadrupling that and having 20% of the population now. And these are people who wouldn't have possibly spent, now shifted to, I can make it. I think I can make it.
I'm
if
going to
I
make a
do
legitimate
this,
effort at it now.
Yeah, if I do this and this and this, and I buy those packs, and I, add a couple crystals, I might spend $150 and get it. Now they're willing to spend because they saw concessions on your side, and so now they're making concessions on their side, and the desire to spend goes up infinitely because the opportunity to get what they were wanting is at a lower price point. Now, Capital Games, I already know your thought, and that is if we give things a longer time, each person's investment is diluted. Absolutely, and that is correct. So with that said, what happens is when you look on the surface and say individuals are going to spend less, we're going to make less money. But if you have 4 times as many people jumping in, they not only make up the difference for the lesser portion of the investment, but it actually increases the overall investment amount. Even though it's burdened by more people, there's a lesser investment, it's actually a larger investment on the back end. For example, selling mattresses at a slightly lower rate increases the volume, and the increase in volume offsets the decrease in price. This is something that's very known to me personally, and the increase in volume is enough to make a significant difference. Now, when I sell a bed, I have one person buying bedding. If you sell one character, you have one character to sell gear to. If you quadruple the number of individuals who can actually get Revan, you are going to quadruple the amount of gear purchases that you get, as well as other things such as the weekly store shipments. So I'm not saying as a whale, I want more competition. What I am saying is widen your swath a little bit. Give it a 2-week extension. Allow more people hope and allow for them to go farm the characters and attempt to get it. Some will, some won't, but I believe concretely, if you actually listen to this philosophy and give it a tweak extension, there will be a larger profit margin for you in the end and a happier player base at the beginning. Final thoughts, SureShots.
I say with going off that same idea and that train of thought, obviously casting a wider net, you would potentially grab all those people sitting on the fence. More people that are sitting there in that in between going, I don't know for sure. I'm at that break even point, or I'm at that point where I don't know if putting out a little extra effort or a little extra money would actually get me that character or not, or at least get me closer to them. You would definitely bring in a wider customer base of people that may be on the fence going, at this point, I might have quitted the game a few times before, and now this just kind of solidifies it for me. Suddenly offering an extension like that would bring in a lot of people that might be on the fence and go, oh, hey, well, they're listening. They're actually offering an olive branch here. I'll extend that back and I'll actually take it.
Yep, and you guys have been really good in the past at hearing criticism, and as long as it's constructive, there's been many opportunities in the past where you've taken those that advice and heeded it and done a good job at kind of being nimble on your toes at times, if you will. This is one of those time opportunities. I feel like you actually have an opportunity to make it a little better with a greater percentage of your player base. This is your long-term investors, even the Dolphins that only spend $20-$30 a month in the game.
Absolutely.
They're going to stay longer because of it. It does send goodwill, olive branch, if you will. And I believe bottom line profit-wise, because that's what you're going to listen to, Capital Games, I believe I'm right. And I believe that giving 2 more weeks gives hope to so many more people that the percentage of investors is going to go up significantly, which is going to help you at the end of the day. So I just hope that you, Capital Games, sends me my commission check, wink, 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 since I'm apparently on your payroll,
right.
according to some trolls on my channel. So,
they complained about enough. Make it legitimate, right?
I just am trying to suggest a better way that will make you more money, make the player base happy, and give a little bit of goodwill in the situation. I'm excited about Revan, and I don't want Revan and his announcement to be overshadowed by something as trivial as this, when it's something I believe you guys can simply click through getting an approval, doing an extension, and watch the magic happen. I believe in this. I hope that you are watching and listening. Take it as me extending my olive branch to you guys as a game changer with heavy influence with the player base. I want the player base to know I do have their back, and I want you to know, Capital Games, that I am trying diplomatically in the best light possible to make sure that the voice is heard by the community in a respectful way, because I know sometimes they just don't know how to deliver the message appropriately. Check the comment section down below to prove my point. As always, keep your gaming on.
This was SureShot.
Out.